thing I've noticed about anti-trans people is they tend to look like shit.
Now, I mean this in the most, and I mean the most disrespectful motherfucking way. I'm gonna need you people who have detransitioned to please stop speaking on the behalf of the trans community, because you are not transgender. Just because you made the mistake and transitioned and thought you was something that you was not, does not mean the rest of us made the same mistake that you did. The ones who are trans, we are very comfortable in who we are. So please, stop, because it's getting fucking old. Go back to who you were to begin with and shut the fuck up, bitch.
Wow. Just wow. So today I'm going to be doing something about this nonsense, and I'm going to call this one trans trash. I mean, I'm just tired of these people. How dare you say that? Okay, first off, you're such a hypocrite. You just out there just saying, like, basically you don't represent, and then who do you represent? You don't represent me. I'm perfectly okay talking to detransitioners, and we have a problem on our hands, my Miss Thing. So if you actually think it is not important for us to have a conversation about why there are detransitioners, then you really don't care about your so-called community. And wow, really, you needed to say it like that? Trashy, trashy, trashy. I'm going to show you so many trashy trans people. It's just getting so pathetic. At the same time, funny, but pathetic and not cool. So thanks for joining me today. Thanks for helping me build this channel. Thanks so much for subscribing and liking and commenting and all the things you're doing, honestly, to help me say the things I need to say here, okay? I know I'm in a great position to do this, and I'm in a great position to out these people who I don't particularly think are, well, they aren't. They are not a representation of trans anything as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion. So I'm going to bring up this next one here, because this one is also something I want to call out.
Before we all go down with the ship, I would just like to say one final goodbye to all of my fellow transsexuals on this app.
What?
It has been an honor to get posted on Libs of TikTok with you all. Stay safe. Mwah.
Okay, so that one is one I have done before, that trashy one. Now, all of a sudden, this trashy one is calling themselves a transsexual. These are the same people who said transsexual is a slur, transsexual doesn't exist, transsexual is antiquated, I'm old, trampa, sit down, you don't know anything. Now they're all calling themselves transsexuals because shit's coming down, friends. Also, if you didn't know, this person is talking about TikTok. And at the time I'm doing this video, on Sunday, this coming up Sunday, supposedly, I hope, please God, TikTok is going out. So these people are all stressing out now because they're not going to have a platform to be trashy on anymore. So it's quite interesting to me that this person is calling themselves a transsexual now. Well, just pay attention to them. They're all hypocrites, they're all grifters, and they're all trashy.
The thing I've noticed about anti-trans people is they tend to look like shit.
Wow.
And I think the reason they do tend to look like shit is because when you talk shit about that many queer people, we don't want to be on your glam team.
Says the guy that looks like shit. Okay, excuse me, what? How dare you talk like that to people? And all of a sudden, why is this funny? I want to know how this person now became a comedian. This is JVN, the dude who makes hair products and is non-binary trans and believes in transitioning children and is a complete total trash. This guy is such trash.
You know, and then you look like you're stuck in a perpetual outlet Kohl's ad.
Wow.
Very generic.
Wow. Yeah.
Very, no one wanted to buy you in the regular store.
You are gross.
And that must be really hard.
You know, I don't particularly think that's funny, but if you do, that's okay, because that's what comedy's about. But here, let me show you the hypocrisy again with these trashy people. If there was a comedian, let's say Dave Chappelle, who decided he wanted to stand up on stage and do completely the same thing you're doing, buddy, about cis people, and talk all kinds of nonsense about how ugly you are, how fat you are, how ridiculous you are, so on and so on. Oh my God, you would lose it. You would call it transphobic. You would spin out. You would try to get him canceled. But here you are doing the exact same thing. Trashy, trashy, trashy. Because that's all you are. You're just a bunch of trashy people who can't seem to understand how to move forward in the world and how to get people to actually respect us as trans people. I don't understand also, this desire to, well, I do, but I want to show you. I found another one with a person who wants to actually just say so many things about detransitioners as the first one did. And it's really shocking to me how there's this idea that detransitioners are fake and they're not real and their own sort of space in the world isn't real and they're making it up, yet you want everybody to believe what you say as a trans person, yet these people are talking about their own story and you're just discounting what they have to say as fake and wrong. But again, if somebody said that to you as a trans person, you would lose it. It just blows my mind how somebody can say these kinds of things without thinking about what they're saying. So I found another trans. This one is a he, they. How are you a he, they? You see, because you don't even know who you are. So you're picking out all these pronouns just in case, whatever. I don't even know. Maybe in case you get misgendered, then it's okay that you're a they because you're so weak you can't walk the world in reality. So this one is just a little bit annoying to me. Well, maybe a lot.
I wrote an essay about a law that was made for a detransitioner called Chloe's Law or something. And I read into this detransitioner's story, and it made me realize, wow, I wonder how many detransitioners are lying about their stories. Because her story went something along the lines of, I transitioned at 12, and then I took puberty blockers the minute I came out. And then I took testosterone at 14. And now she's going on to say really crazy things that, like, gender-affirming care for minors is the equivalent of, like, the experiments Nazi soldiers did on, like, Jewish prisoners. I read that story and was genuinely like, this is bullshit.
What?
Like, how do transphobes not realize that the amount of detransitioners that are probably speaking to them are grifting? Their stories are probably not real. I do believe that they have detransitioned, but the details of their story and making themselves out to be victims are most likely fabrications.
Most likely. And
like, this is ridiculous.
You are such trash. You are such trash. How dare you say that? Again, the hypocrisy of these people. Why would somebody make that up? I've actually spoken to a lot of detransitioners, okay? And we as a trans community, well, I'm not part of that nonsense because I can't deal with people like you. Nope, sorry, friend. That's not true. These people have had really harrowing experiences that should have never happened to them. And I'm not sure why you think they're grifters. You seem more of a grifter than they do. Way more of a grifter. Okay, so the fact that these trans people are saying these things about detransitioners says one thing to me. It says they fear the truth and the honesty, that we have opened the floodgates for anyone to say they're trans when that's not true. Trans is a mental disorder. Trans needs a lot of time and energy and understanding before you decide to make that transition. Thirdly, today, these people are using trans as an identity choice when it is not an identity choice. It is a medical condition. And number 4, we need gatekeeping so people like this and detransitioners don't get caught up in this idea that just anyone is trans if they say they are.
This morning I woke up with blood in my underwear, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is so gender affirming. Did I finally get a visit from the period fairy?
I wish. No, I was just tucking irresponsibly.
I ran out of my good tucking tape, so I was using Scotch packing tape, and this motherfucker ripped off a whole chunk of my bit. I apologize, I know that was very graphic. I'm sure people will have a lot to say about me sharing this information online, but trans people's bodies are already so stigmatized and I'm sick of it. I just want to be able to share honest, funny stories about my silly little vessel that I inhabit. Sue me! Disclaimers: tuck with clear vinyl tape. Do not tape tuck every day. I only do it when I'm wearing a really revealing outfit. Trans people don't owe you tucking, and our bodies are our business. Lots of trans people choose not to tuck. That's all. Bye.
I can't. the grifting on this stuff, as well as the trap. Why are you talking about your so-called period and gender? How is your period gender affirming? Every female I know doesn't really want to have their period, including myself. So all of a sudden now this period thing has become so, it's disgusting and trashy. It's trashy what you're talking about. Tucking your balls with tape because you can't find, like, really? Do you think people actually care about that? Nobody cares. Okay. And this is why we are in the position we are in, because you've all become so trashy and gross and putting this stuff out on TikTok, which is now going to go down. Thank you, God. Here it comes. One day, we all knew one day this was going to come. So anyway, here you go. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'm just, I think I'm actually thinking about doing a series here and calling it Trans Trash. And probably I'll get to in the series to 100,000 of them because they're just so insane. So without TikTok, though, what are we going to do? Okay, have a great rest of your day, my friends, and I'll see you later. And thanks again for liking and subscribing.